Hi guys, welcome back to Aligned and Ambitious TV. In today's YouTube video, I'm gonna share with you my entrepreneur story. Something I get asked all the time is how I got into business, how I got to where I am, if I always knew I wanted to do this, and short answer is fuck no. I'm really passionate about sharing my story because it took so many unexpected turns, and I think a lot of people, especially when they're first starting their business, they think it's this linear path to get to where they want to go, and in my experience, it's been anything but linear. So let's start back in 2016. I had just graduated from Niagara University with my bachelor's in criminal justice. And let me just tell you that I have always been a 5-year planner. And so I knew I wanted to get my bachelor's degree. I thought I wanted to get my master's. At one point I was like, I'm going all the way to get my PhD. So I graduated early, I did all the things, I was on executive board in my sorority, I was really involved in campus, I was doubling up on classes, I was even taking master's classes to get ahead on a degree that I hadn't even started yet. Before I graduated, I actually got my first job offer. And let me tell you guys, I literally thought I was all that. I was like, I got a job offer before I even graduated college. I'm ready to be an adult. This is so exciting, all of the things. And then I got into that job, and it was my first 9-to-5. And on paper, it was a really perfect opportunity. It was close to my house. It was an interesting job. I was doing investigations for an agency. I worked with a lot of great people. The hours were great. They were flexible with me. On paper, it was the perfect opportunity for someone fresh out of college. But I ended up leaving that job within my first couple of weeks there because I knew so early on that the 9-to-5 structure just was not meant for me, or I was not meant for it. And so my mindset at the time, and I was probably 21, I was like, if I get out now, I have time to figure it out rather than, hanging out for 5 years to see if the shoe fits or if things start to feel better, when I knew deep in my body it's not what I wanted to do. So when I left that job, it's kind of when my entrepreneur journey began, because I started to restore furniture out of my mom's garage for some extra money. I was doing tables and dressers and chairs and end tables, and I was also waitressing, and I was also working at a gym, which, if you guys know me, I am not meant to work at a gym. But this specific gym was actually heavily focused on mindset and law of attraction, and that's something that I was really drawn to. And so as I started to get more familiar with the company, I actually started to enter a deal where I was going to buy a franchise of this gym and move across state and open up a gym. And my mom was so supportive, and my fiance at the time, he was so supportive, but we ended up getting into a really ugly situation in a deal gone wrong, where they were like not truthful about numbers and hours and all of the things. So essentially that left me jobless yet again. So I was still left waiting tables. I was waitressing at a chicken wing restaurant. I worked there in college. I literally had been there for probably 5 years before I officially said goodbye to my waitressing gig. But this was what I would consider my rock bottom in my life, because we were planning a destination wedding. We had just moved out for the first time, so we had rent and new bills that we didn't have before. I didn't have a savings. I didn't have a stable job. He didn't have a stable job at the time. He was in construction, so he was getting laid off all the time. And I just remember thinking to myself, I'm so sick of other people being in charge of my time and my money. And I had given so much of my effort to working at that gym just to have that totally go south, and for me to be left without a job, struggling to pay my bills. And so at this point in my life is when I actually set a new standard. And I said, okay, I know that I want to work from home. I think I want to work on social media, and I just want some more space and freedom. And so I started to apply to jobs online, and I stumbled across a digital marketing agency, and they were hiring for Facebook ads manager. Now, even though I had zero Facebook ads experience, I did work in social media before briefly, and so I fudged up my resume and I did some research about what Facebook ads actually take so I could learn the lingo and show up confident to that interview. I was so nervous going into that interview because I really didn't know anything about Facebook ads, but I really wanted to learn. The company at the time when they were interviewing me, they said they had more people they were interviewing throughout the week and they would let me know by the end of the week. We did the interview, and within an hour later, they had called me up and they said, we canceled the rest of our interviews because you are just the perfect fit and we'd love to extend the job to you. The perfect fit? I didn't think that, but that is how I got my foot in the door to marketing and entrepreneurship. So I started working for that agency, and I'm not gonna lie, it was really fucking bumpy. I had a lot to learn, and I did. I took full responsibility. I was studying marketing nights, weekends. I was living, breathing, eating, marketing and strategy and funnels and mindset on top of it, because it was rough. It was rough to be in an environment where I didn't feel like I was thriving, and knowing that I put myself there. But I figured it out, and pretty soon I became one of the top players on the team, and I got between I think like 5 or 6 promotions while I was there, and by the time that I was actually transitioning out to full-time in my own business, I was making nearly 6 figures a year salary in that job. And when they first hired me, I think I was making 35. And so I was really valued, and I learned a lot, and I brought a lot to the table once I taught myself the base concepts. So I spent nearly 3 years building other people's businesses, strategizing their launch plans, dissecting the back end of their funnels and their email sequences and all of the things, until eventually one day I said, wait a second, why don't I just do this for myself? Still at that time, I wasn't even considering business coaching. I started out in the online space as a mindset coach, where I had digital products and coaching programs all about energetics, all about mindset, all about alignment, which has really still been a big part of my mission and in my brand. I did mindset coaching for about 6 months until it was very clear to me that between the connection I had to the energetic work and growing up with manifestation really present in my household, and how immersed I've been in entrepreneurship and marketing and strategy, I knew I had to bring those two worlds together. And so that's really when the Aligned and Ambitious brand was born. So about 1.5 years into my business, I finally walked away from the marketing agency job, and I've been full-time in my business ever since. The reason I wanted to take an entire YouTube video to paint this picture for you guys is because from the outside today, it looks like I have it all together. I have the dream business, I have the dream office, I have dream clients, I'm making dream money, I have the dream schedule. But in the last 5 years, I had no idea where I was going to end up. When I was in college, I had no idea I was going to be a business owner. When I was waiting tables, when I was working at a gym, even when I got into working at that marketing agency, I had no idea what the next step or what the next chapter was going to look like for me. I just was focused on taking the next step. And the people that you look up to that have the dream everything, they didn't start in that place. And so the biggest takeaway I want you to get from my story is that early on, in that very first 9 to 5, I was willing to walk away. I was not willing to compromise. I was not willing to settle. I had no idea what I was going to do. I had no idea how I was going to make money. I had no idea what my career path was going to turn into, but I was willing to leave that job. I was willing to get uncomfortable. I was willing to work at a gym, even though it makes no sense. I was willing to restore furniture, even though I had no idea what I was going to do after that. I was willing to put myself out there for a job that I knew I probably wasn't qualified for, but I wanted it anyways. I did all of the things in spite of it making sense, and I think that's a big part of why I am where I am today. So no matter where you are in your life or in your business, if it doesn't look the way that you want it to look right now, no know that that doesn't mean anything, and all your job is to do is to take the next step and to not settle and to not compromise on the things that are really important to you. So I hope my story inspired you to go after the life and business that you really want. Thanks so much for tuning in to another episode of Aligned and Ambitious TV, and I'll see you guys next week.